Our next guest is introducing legislation to impose new sanctions on Colombia after yesterday's back and forth, as Trump once again prevailed in his motive of peace through strength. His name is Bernie Moreno. He's an Ohio Republican senator. He's a brand new senator, and he joins me now. Senator, thanks for being with us. It does seem like this came to a successful conclusion yesterday afternoon. You are proposing legislation that would put new sanctions onto Colombia. Is it necessary after the way it played out yesterday?
Well, Will, thank you for having me on, and just want to remind you and your viewers, I was actually born in Colombia, South America, to Colombian parents. I became a naturalized citizen when I was 18. I love Colombia. I have relatives that live there. And by the way, Colombians love America. They don't love their current president. So what you saw yesterday, what wasn't reported, was that the people of Colombia, political leaders, business leaders, rallied in support of President Trump, denouncing Petro's actions, which were totally outrageous. So we have those sanctions on the shelf, should we need them. This guy's only in office for a little bit over a year from now. Then Colombia's going to elect a new president that's going to be a good friend of the United States. We've had a great positive relationship with America, and I think that will continue when we have a new president in Colombia that actually looks out for their country and not looks out for themselves.
Well, speaking of clarity when it comes to leadership, Senator, Vice President J.D. Vance began his media tour speaking to the media. He did choose CBS and Margaret Brennan to talk with this weekend on Sunday. They talked about the border, they talked about inflation, and they talked about states across this great United States of America and how they respond to disasters. And Brennan was pretty revealing about how she felt about some of the states in our country. Watch this.
FEMA has specialized expertise that some of these states just don't have
Margaret,
in their arsenal. And
I wish
how
that they...
will states who are lower income states, the Mississippis, the Kentuckys, the Alabamas, be able to do this for themselves without federal help?
Well, the president, to be clear, is not saying we're going to leave anybody behind. He's saying that in the way that we administer these resources, some of which is coming from the federal level, some of which is coming from the state level, we've got to get the bureaucrats out of the way and get the aid to the people who need it most.
But these are the first responders.
Margaret, you talk about the expertise from FEMA. FEMA in North Carolina, in California, in Florida with some of the hurricanes has often been a disaster.
Yeah, I don't know what type of leadership she's seen in, I guess, the more elite and financially well-off states she's suggesting, like California or New York. Your state, by the way, Ohio, it's dealt with some of these disasters, as it did in East Palestine. And the governor of Mississippi put out the following statement. He said, hilarious elitism by Margaret Brennan, claiming that Mississippians know less about emergency management than D.C. bureaucrats, all because her favorite Democrats in California and North Carolina have failed their constituents. You know, Senator, we pride ourselves here on being in touch with the rest of America. What would you say to Margaret Brennan?
Look, this is what the election was about. This is why they lost Michigan, why they've lost Ohio completely, why they lost Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, is because at the end of the day, we're sick and tired of being looked down upon by these coastal elites that, by the way, why don't you focus on running your own cities properly instead of telling us how to live? I'm proud to live in Ohio. Ohio's got great people. We don't need Margaret or any other coastal elite telling us how to live our lives. And let me just say one more thing. J.D. Vance was the greatest vice presidential pick in American history. It shows President Trump's decision-making. I'm so proud of what J.D. Vance has done. He is already just an outstanding vice president, and that interview really highlighted that.
There's no doubt that's true, and I think it's shared by many Americans. It is notable, though, that you're not only an American, you are an Ohioan. So I understand a little bit of bias if there might be in that assessment of J.D. Vance. But it is shared, I think, by most Americans. Thank you, Senator. Congratulations, and best of luck in your new job.
Thank you. And let me just point out, we are the national champions. So thank you.
Okay, you got that. You got that. That is true, Senator. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.